Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
Yes, sir. For you, it's Sunday. For me, I film this on Friday. Today is last day of school for the kiddos, man. They get done early, so I got to knock this out early, pick those kiddos up. I got squirt guns, so when they get off the bus, pop, 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 pop. Get it popping. Get it popping. Summer is coming, fam. Summer is coming. Let's get in these fan questions, man. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let's get to it. If you're watching this, you're like, how do I get my questions answered? You put it in the YouTube comments below. You put fan question, Nick Chin sees them, I answer them. During the week, a lot of it's DM questions, but on Sundays in particular, it's all the YouTube questions. So I try to get to all of them. It's tough. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but either way, it will get answered either today or next week. Keep on keeping on, fam. All right, let's get to it, man. This is at Kevin Murphy 6867. 67. Fan question. Massive fan of you guys. Saw Brian down in Port Charlotte and San Diego. I'm retired Navy, been fighting for about 12 years. I got my blue belt through Jocko. Great dude. Box and Muay Thai as well. I definitely could beat up Brian, but that's a later conversation. I hope so, man. I've been fighting 12 years. Brian's 60, so you better be able to beat him up. Hello, but I run a donation-based boxing Muay Thai for veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, and others struggling with PTSD and other mental health issues. Was hoping I could get a shout out to get the word out. I'm in St. Pete, Florida. It's called Murph's Fight Club. Again, love the show. Listen to all every day. They come out and listen on YouTube when I'm cleaning the house. Keep it up, boys. Well, here's your shout out, big dog. You're doing the Lord's work. You're clearly a badass. You're in St. Pete, Florida. It's called Murph's Fight Club. He's doing the Lord's work. So give my boy some love, y'all. It's Murph's Fight Club. And he's fighting for the boys, man. He's fighting for the boys. For veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, all those struggling PTSD and other mental health issues. Give my boy Murph's Fight Club some love, y'all. All right? Keep doing the Lord's work, my man. Good luck. What else you got, Jen? At Drunk in Charge MMA. All right. Fan question. I stopped asking questions after the 8th time, Chin and Nick. Asking the same damn question I never got answered. Question. Would you ever have a guest on the show so often like Gordon Ryan, Brian Shaw, Frank Grillo, or anyone else that's into MMA? No. Straight up no. Love Gordon Ryan. That's my brother. He's on my series. Gearhead's Gone Wild. I love Gordon. He's a brilliant mind when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Brian Shaw, Frank Grillo. Love Frank. I don't know Brian at all. I know Callan's close with him. I've never met the Giant, but I'm a fan of his. Frank Grillo's my older brother who's way more shredded than me. Love Frank. I don't have any interest doing a podcast, man, like that. I just don't. I don't know. I don't. If it's like an MMA expert, like a Luke Thomas, a Mike Bond, Ariel, DJ, like guys in the space that know their shit, I would love to have those type of guys on to some extent. I don't know, man. I'm cool where I'm at. Meaning I just rant into the camera with my ideas and hopefully you guys dig it. I like the fan questions. The guest stuff I did for so long, man. It's such a hassle. I'm cool, man. I'm cool hitting singles every week. I'm cool.
Chuck Mindenhall, you like him too, right?
Love Chuck Mindenhall. Love him. Yeah, anyone like that, I would figure it out if they wanted to do it, and if they were in town, you know what I'm saying? If it's in person, I hate Zooms. Let's say for whatever reason they were all in town for the big, UFC International Fight Week or White House, I would do like a watch along or like a post-fight thing panel with them. But yeah, if it's just dudes who are into MMA, I'm not really interested in it. At what it do, J. Lou. Fan question: if you were producing a movie about true struggles of a promising young fighter that everyone, fans, journalists, analysts, promoters, eventually started counting out at one point in their career, labeling their mid-tier best due to their losses or lack of skill improvement or physique at the specific time, only for them to reinvent themselves, mind, body, skills, and go to a legendary run with elite level wins, who would you choose? Charles Oliveira. Oh, you give some examples. Charles Oliveira, Robbie Lawler, Matt Serra. No. Yeah, Charles Oliveira all day. You got to realize he was like, especially when he was at 45, he was like, you could tell there was talent, but there was a heart issue. He's a mid-level guy. He would do cool things, and then you'd see him quit, and you're like, oh, he's cooked. And then he's one of the best to ever do it now. Figured shit out, and he's a legend. At Gladiator Hill 94. Fan question. If you were to give Justin Gaethje a hype speech while he was doing his pre-fight warm-ups at the White House, how would it go down? And mind you, we need it to be on Remember the Titans or Coach Carter level. We need his flagpole raised like the Marines in Iwo Jima. Also, very excited for more episodes of your show. I need more episodes because I've already watched all the episodes 3 times. Thank you, brother. We're trying to put out more content. I got some ideas. Doing a Patreon, adding more shows, me doing less of other shows. I'm figuring it out. Trust me, I'm figuring it out. In regards to Justin Gaethje, he needs a Al Pacino Any Given Sunday. Inch by inch. Hooah. He needs some shit like that. For Justin Gaethje, I don't know exactly how it would go, but I would basically, to your point, it's like the flagpole raised in Iwo Jima. It's basically like you're doing this for all of America. We're banking on you. This is your miracle on ice. Throw caution to the wind. Don't hold anything back. This is what you're going to be remembered for. And you're fighting in front of probably the biggest crowd of all time. What do you want to be remembered for? And go out on your shield. Win, lose, or draw, go out on your shield and make us proud. And that's all you can really do, man. The odds are against you. Go get them. Fuck them all. Darth Fury's US. Fan question. With the lack of McGregor on socials lately, what does that make you think? I think he's doing work. I do. Are we really going to see a serious return? Did he really make a change, or is he just locking it down and giving his team his devices before he goes skiing? Yeah. Hope he's healthy. He's a dad, so I want him to do well. Yeah, I hear you. So is Max, though, And Max is a damn good dad. Not saying McGregor's not, but, he was a wild boy there. It's tough to be a good dad and be a wild boy, trust me. Been a long time fan since tough. Your oldest and mine are both a month apart. Love it. You're a great dad. Thanks, bud. Nothing better than kids. Thank you for everything, you guys. Yep. Thanks, brother. So your question is, yeah, him not being on social media, I think is a positive sign. I think Conor knows, the movie's about to end. How does he want to be remembered? And for him, it's not about money. It is. He needs to be paid his worth, which we can get to. But I think for him, it's like he doesn't want the fans remember him for the recent things that have gone on in his life outside the octagon and inside the octagon. So this is the last hurrah. I think he's taking it very serious. And I think we're going to get a good version of him. What that version looks like, I don't know. Neither do you guys. But I do think he's going to put his best foot forward and make him and his family proud. And I don't think it's going to be sad. Like Nate Diaz in Netflix, that was sad. To me, that's sad. You're talking about a legend, a guy who's known for toughness, and just seeing kind of him get outclassed by Mike Perry. It's sad. It just is. Izzy's fight against Joe Pyfer. That's sad to me, dude. I don't like that stuff. So I don't think Conor's going to do that. I don't think he's going out that way. He has a very, very tough matchup. And here's something to note. Mike Bond and Luke Thomas talked about this, and Mike Bond, he's been doing it forever. He has his ear to the ground. He has contacts at UFC. One of the issues why Conor took so long to come back, and I was explaining this to Nick on Friday's show, is you're dealing with a different animal. You're dealing with the biggest celebrity, biggest fighter, the highest earner, the biggest pay-per-view draw of all time. Pay-per-view's gone. So what's that contract look like now? So it's not just about Conor getting ready for a fight and then being like, are you healthy? There's a lot of business and money and politics that go into getting McGregor to fight. And that's why he's at International Fight Week. That's why he's known for 6 months. He's fighting Max Holloway, but they kept it a secret because they got to figure out the money side, the monetization side of things, because pay-per-view model's gone. So what's he worth to them now? According to Mike Bond, we don't know the exact numbers, but we do know that Conor only agreed to whatever money they're paying him, which is a truckload, I'm sure, to 2 fights. But they have to give him those 2 fights in this calendar year. So a fight in July, then they have to fight him before December 31st. He didn't sign an extension. He didn't sign a new 8-fight deal. Notice there's been none of that news. He just agreed for the 2 fights left on his contract. But they have to fight him twice. So win, lose, or draw, you're getting Conor McGregor twice this year. Which, if you're a Conor fan, it's a good thing. The other thing you got to realize is Conor knows that his biggest bag isn't going to be fighting Max Holloway. It's a good bag, but it's not going to be fighting Max Holloway. It's not going to be fighting Paddy Pimblett in November. That's whatever. His biggest bag is going to be becoming a free agent and fighting Nate Diaz in the trilogy on Netflix MVP. That's where him and Nate are going to make more money than God, and Netflix is going to throw the fucking bag at him, and that's his plan. That's his plan. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get 3 more fights out of Conor. 2 in the UFC, last one, Nate Diaz trilogy on MVP Netflix. That's what's going down, y'all. Great question. At Conversation Strangler Steve 9873. Fan question. How do you come up with your name, dude? Fan question for you. How did you come up with your name? Who wins in a fight between a team of Poatan and... Oh, this is silly. Nick, come on. Who wins in a fight between a team of Poetans and Ilya Topuria versus 12 Brian Callens in his prime? And before you keep... Brian, sweet kick. Yep. Yeah. Brian gets destroyed. At Nerd Jock Hybrid. Fan question. If MVP does another MMA event in the future and offers another fight to Ronda, she's not taking it. Which of these 3 opponents do you think she would accept? You can rank them in order to make it more interesting. 1, Chris Cyborg. Absolutely not. Kat Zingano rematch. Yeah. Holly Holm rematch. That's your number 1. Holly Holm would be your number 1. She's not doing it. She wants to make more babies with Travis Brown. She's made all the money on this last fight. It's her last one. She talked about her family doesn't want her to fight. She doesn't want to fight. This was perfect case scenario. She goes in there against a girl who can't grapple, submits her, no punishment done. She can move on with her life. That's the last of her legacy. She made whatever, $10, $15 million. She's buying a new house in Hawaii. That's it, Bubba. But let's say for whatever reason she decided to do it again, which she's not, it'd be Holly Holm. And Holly Holm has a boxing match coming up, I think this weekend or next. So I would assume Holly Holm for her. Chris Cyborg ain't happening. She don't want that smoke. And maybe Kat Zingano, but that's, it's Holly Holm. At Malcolm McLeod. Fan questions. How does a fight go between Poatan and Khamzat at 205? I have less questions about Poatan at 205. Obviously, he's pretty fucking good. He's beat very good guys there and grapplers. For Khamzat, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Khamzat, I think it's between the ears for him. I think it's his training. Maybe he's training too hard. Maybe he's training the wrong way. Something's going on there that he needs to figure out, and he's not going to get those questions answered at 205. He's just not. And if you saw DDP, I think we played on Friday. Did we play on Friday? I sent to you guys where DDP is like, the weight cut thing's just an excuse. Like, he had to cut 12 pounds the day before. That's lightweight. That ain't shit. This is all an excuse, which I agree. It's a discipline excuse thing. He needs to figure that out. 205 ain't going to answer those questions for him. At MMA Hardcore 5482. Question. They keep saying the White House event is being funded by the president of the UFC. However, what people are missing is the scale of ticket value. Correct, sir. Think how much those tickets are. If the White House event, this is great. You are a hardcore, dude. If the White House event has 4,300 total seats and Trump receives 1,000 tickets while Dana gets 200, and each ticket is valued at 1.5 million, that means Trump could generate around 1.5 billion from selling his allocations, and Dana could generate around 300 million from selling his. With the rest of the seats going to the military, the majority of the venue is filled by military personnel, but the financial upside still sits heavy with the ticket holders.
I think
Correct.
there's a two-parter. Let's see.
Since this isn't pay-per-view event, do you think the revenue from these ticket allocations alone could surpass the UFC's highest live gate totals? 1,000%. They not even close. Because UFC's biggest gate's what, like 3-something million? Can you look that up, Chin?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just a few. Just Dana selling his would be the highest gate ever. Let alone Trump selling 200 tickets. So the highest gate ever is 21 million. Damn, that was fairly recent. UFC 306. Conor's highest gate ever was 17 million. So if UFC 306 was 21 million and they're selling tickets for 1.5 million and Dana has 200, just Dana on his own, if he sold those, would be the highest gate ever, let alone Trump. It's a great point. Yeah, it easily surpasses the biggest live gate totals ever. And no one's going to report it. It's never going to get
This is the
reported.
first time I heard of it. Yeah.
Never going to get reported. Slowfit 9735. Fan question. 1,000th attempt, Nick. During the MVP card, John first said he wanted to get out of his UFC contract. No, he first said he's retired and he has arthritis. But then after that, he said he wants to get out of his UFC contract. And Tyron said to have MVP pay for his buyout and legal fees. Then John backtracked and said he was retiring. I think it was the other way around, dude. After the fight, they asked MVP about it, and they said they don't want to get sued by the UFC and didn't want any part of it. Are you able to explain why the UFC contracts are iron locked and what exactly are the penalties for violating the contract? Is it you have to pay fines? No. Is it getting sued? No. They're just going to tie you up in court and you're not going to fight. Does the commission not sanction or allow you to compete for other organizations? Correct. Just curious why it's a death sentence to get out of these UFC contracts and why is it the only way out to finish it? Because the way the contracts work is they have first right to refusal. So let's say the UFC offered you, let's say you have 3 fights on, let's make this easy. You have 3 fights on your contract and you're Jon Jones and they offered him 30 million to fight Aspinall. He said no. Well, that doesn't mean that because they offer it, that it goes off your 3 fight total. What that does is extend your contract. So if they offer you a fight and you can't take it because of injury, life issues, personal issues, bad matchup, you turn it down, it extends your contract, which is wild. And the other reason, their contracts are so ear fucking tight that it's almost impossible to get out of it. It's impossible to get out of it. And if you do, they take you to court like Randy Couture, these other guys, these other fighters, where they're going to tie you up in legal fees and issues. By the time you fight, you're out of your prime. So there's really no way to win. There's really no way to win. And with Woodley being like, just have Netflix MVP pay for, the legal issues and to get you out of your contract. That's so silly. He knows better. That's so silly. There's a reason they're a monopoly. There's a reason why. The reason why the UFC has a stranglehold on the entire MMA community, the entire fighters, is because notice Poatan signed like a 6-fight deal. Charles Oliveira signed an 8-fight deal, or whatever the fuck it is. They extended it for so long because you're not going to be able to get out of it. Even if you don't want to fight, or if you have a better opportunity in Netflix MVP, you're not going to get out of your contract. They don't want you jumping ship. Now, if guys were smart, and it'd have to be across the board, they're going to do what Conor's doing, where he has 2 fights left, and he's going, I'm not going to resign. I want to test the market. I want to test the market value, see where I'm at. Because if Netflix MVP is not there, Conor's probably going to sign another long extension and he'll never fulfill it. But because there's a Netflix MVP, Conor's going, no, I'll finish this out, and I'm going to test the waters and see what my value is. And obviously, MVP is going to pay him way more money than UFC will, so that's what he's going to do. Boxing, say what you want about boxing, but this is what's great about boxing. Notice a Canelo, a Floyd Mayweather, an Usyk, they don't sign these crazy long-term deals. They go, no. I'm market value. I'll sign. Notice Canelo does a 1-fight deal here, maybe a 2-fight deal here. Floyd does a 3-fight deal with Showtime. And then once that's up, they have other organizations who will pay for their services, and they create a bidding war. The UFC is trying to stop all that and tie you up so you can't go test the free agent. So talent never leaves, and they can't build these other leagues. That's the issue. That's a monopoly, and that's the issue everyone has with them. At Low Tone Podcast. Fan question, big fan from back in the day. How much does natural God-given physical ability play in part in MMA versus other sports? I had 2 MMA fights with no training, got tapped twice in the first round without landing a punch. Still love the experience. Thanks for the years of free entertainment. No problem, brother. Big fan from back in the day. How much does natural God-given physical ability play in part in MMA versus other sports? Oh, man. MMA is different, where you have to be born with a fighter's heart. You have to be born with being okay, being in uncomfortable positions. Now, it's not like football where you're uncomfortable, where you get sacked as a quarterback or you get hit when you catch the ball. I'm not talking about that uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable being down, 0-2 an account if you're a baseball player and, when this guy's throwing gas. That's not uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is you have whatever weight class you are, heavyweight, because I was heavyweight. You have a 260-pound man on top of you, and he's in side control, and you have no ability to get up, and you're tired, and he's putting all the pressure on you, and you have to find some comfort in that. It's a very special skill set. It's a very special wiring that people have where, let's say you get taken down and you have this 260-pound animal on top of you, and he's landing punches, and your life is miserable. And then that bell rings, and you pop up, and you have to believe enough in yourself where you believe in your skill set, you believe in your fighter's heart, that you can somehow figure out that puzzle and get back to the grind and enforce your will against that guy, even though he just dominated you for a round. So it takes a very particular set of skills that we can't define. So if you look at like a Jon Jones, if we put him through an NFL combine, he's running a 5.3 40, probably a 26-inch vertical. His reach would be cool, impressive as far as those metrics, but his 5.10.5 is trash. I bet his reaction's not that great on doing all that stuff. But you put a cage around him, he's going to fuck up everybody at that combine. It's just a special set of skills. It's very hard to define. It's also a thing where you have to have this meanness, this toughness that you can't really develop inside air-conditioned gyms, on Lake Travis football field. You can't really come from a privileged life and have that work ethic, if that makes sense, to make it in fighting. So I'll never forget when I was with Mike Tyson, I said, yeah, fighting, you got to come from the streets. And he stopped me in my tracks. He goes, it comes from the gutters, motherfucker. The gutters. Not the streets, the gutters. It's just a tough route to go. I tell my kids all the time, they'll see UFC, and obviously I watch it nonstop, so it's always on at the house. And my little one, Bossy, who's my most athletic, will go, Dad, I'm gonna fight in the UFC. I'm like, buddy, how do I tell you this? UFC fighters don't come from Lake Travis. UFC fighters don't come from a house that's near a lake. It's just, could they? I've never seen it. Maybe you're the outlier because your dad did, maybe, but I'll give you an example. There was this baseball player around this area, and this very famous coach coached him. And the coach told me the story. And he's the most athletic kid, the most technical. This kid did everything right. He was basically a protege. He was a prodigy. He had every God-given talent. His swing was perfect. His mechanics were perfect. He was a first-round draft pick. And the way baseball works is when you're drafting the first round, you don't go straight to the Dodgers or straight to the Cubs and you're in the fucking starting order and you're playing third base or first base. No. You go to the farm league, the minor league, and you work your way up. Some guys do it within 6 months or a year. Some guys it takes 5 years. Some guys it takes 10 years before they get their shot up there. It's a tough go. And so he asked the scout, he goes, that kid's the next thing, right? That kid's going to be the next fucking Bryce Harper. That kid's going to be the next, Paul Skeens or what the fuck. Name your favorite baseball player. The scout goes, no. I bet he's done in a year. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, here's the thing, is in minor leagues, you're on buses. And not like fancy tour buses like Burt Kreischer and fucking Jelly Roll are on. You're on school buses. And you're going from town to town, Iowa, Oklahoma in the middle of the summer. And you're sleeping in Motel 6s and shitty hotels. You're making $300 a month. You're eating shitty food. It's a grind. Now that prospect I was telling you about who got drafted in the first round, his dad owns a hedge fund. He's worth damn near $1 billion. So that kid has an out. That kid knows, if I stop playing baseball, I'm okay. He had a plan B. Those Dominicans or Puerto Ricans who are on that bus have no rich dad, have no plan B. Their only way to make a living for themselves is by making it in the fucking baseball big leagues. It's their only revenue source. It's the only chance they have at anything. So for them, riding on those buses, playing in fucking 100-degree weather in the middle of the summer or in the spring, sleeping on the floor, eating fucking fast food, not getting sleep, busting around, to them it's, hey man, this is what we do. That rich kid it's too tough. It's too tough. So my point is, especially when it comes to MMA, it's too tough. You can't come from a privileged world and make it in this sport. You can't. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. It's impossible. There's guys that will attempt it, like Randy Couture's son. I'm sure he didn't grow up in the gutters. Was he the best you've ever seen? No. Now you can make it, whatever that means for you. But as far as being like ranked, perennial top 10, having a 5 to 10 year career, I just don't think it's possible. I don't. Fighting's a very, very different animal. At Kobuler, fan question. Any advice for a 29-year-old turning 30 this year, taking the first AMI MMA fight? Been training for about a year and a half. He does Thai, boxing, jiu-jitsu, a little wrestling with former Indiana State wrestlers. Would be 2 years, but took a little time off for family. At 210 right now, I'm trying to get to 180, 185 to get to 170 for the first fight. 210 right now. Man, especially at amateur, I wouldn't kill yourself to make 70 for your first fight. I would I would make 85, Bubba, and not kill yourself. So, especially as an amateur. And you're taking your first AMI fight at 29, you're going to be 30 by the time you do it. I would go 85. I wouldn't kill yourself to get to 70, especially at amateur. And then I would get a few wins under my belt at 85, see if it's for you, see if you like it, see how you're doing, see what you're good at, see what you need to work on. 30's tough, bud. 30's tough, especially when you don't have a background in anything. Go for it and see where it takes you. You never know. You never know, dude. But, you're doing Thai, boxing, jiu-jitsu, a little wrestling. So it sounds like you have a base, but you don't excel at any of it. So I would try to focus on one of those things. Have an understanding of wrestling for sure. But whatever you gravitate to most, I would really focus on that. So you have a significant advantage, especially at the amateur level, whether it's on the feet, if it goes to the ground. But you don't want to just be okay at everything. Hopefully that helps, dude. I wouldn't kill yourself making 170 for an amateur fight, by the way. Fan question, Tyler Turobody 3524. Hey guys, thanks for getting me through my work days with these pods. How do you feel about all the new fighters signed to the UFC getting the same pay to start out? 25K, 25K to show. That being the standard start out. From there, you grow your name and negotiate contracts with 25 to show and win mandatory for all new blood in the UFC, or even 40 to win. These guys work so hard to get to the UFC, and some of them only make 8 to 15K a fight. It's crazy. I also think that they need to grow their name and fight more often, but a base pay to start seems like a better idea to me. Love hearing the baseball stories, and you talk about your kids. New dad here. Hopefully I'll kill it like you are, Bren. Thanks, dude. You will, bud. Gang. Yeah, I'm on the fence about the first-timers getting 50K for their first fight. And this is why. Because the UFC has made their bed. They have to lie in it, right? So they have to fulfill whatever it is, 46 cards a year. So the standard to get into the UFC now is so much lower than 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Because there weren't as many cards, so they didn't need as many fighters. So you had the creme de la creme. You look at the rankings, it was fucking tough to make the top 15. Top 10, top 5, Jesus Christ, it's murder's row. Now, because there are so many cards, they need to sacrifice talent. So you're seeing kids on the Contender Series who are 2-0, 3-0, that have a long ways to go get into the UFC. So what I'm saying is a kid that's 3-0, 4-0, who really hasn't put the work in, he might be a prospect. You're going to pay him 50K off the bat, you know? It's a multiple layered issue, which is there's too many fights, there's too many fighters. Cut down the fights. They're not going to do this, but cut down the fights. And then the people that get in, it's special, and they're at such a high level, they should be getting, to your point, 25 and 25 or 40 and 40. But when you have these low-level guys who have so far to go, I don't know about paying all of them 50 grand, man. I don't know, Bubba. Great question, though. At WineCork90, fan question. Here sitting at my son's soccer game, #dad life, scrolling through the gram and saw that JDS was paid only 80K. My question is that true? If so, do you think Ron and Jake have a leg to stand on top fighter pay? I would assume he got paid more than 80K. Here's my issue with Ron and Jake bashing the UFC and being like, we're fighters first, we pay them. Then why are you using the same tactics the UFC is when it comes to negotiating and fighter pay? You're literally doing the exact same thing they are, because you don't want fighters to have leverage to negotiate their contracts. What happened to all the Ronda saying, come over here, we're fighters first? Then release the actual paydays so that Nate, when he fights Mike Perry again, or if he fights Conor, knows what the bar is. But you're not going to do that, because you're doing the same slimy shit the UFC is. But you ran on your fighter first. You're fucking not. If you were, you would release the actual numbers. You would release that Ronda made whatever it is, 15 million as the main event. Because then when Conor comes along and Nate comes along and you want that trilogy fight, you know damn well you don't want to give them leverage. It's the same tactics. It's this rinse and repeat. It's the same shit. How many leagues have we seen run this same fucking scam? We're fighters first. We don't have anything to hide. You're doing the same shit. It's all the same story. You guys fall for it. And then this comes out. You're like, whoa, they only got this much? Well, no, they got more. We just won't tell you how much. Why not? Because not as much as you think, and they don't want to give the fighters coming up leverage for negotiation. It's all bullshit tactics that all leagues do, and it will never change. And it's sure as fuck not changing with MVP Netflix. Hate to tell you. It's the same shit, rinse and repeat. It's scummy shit. At Swanson 21, fan question. Who was the greatest coach fighter duo? You've seen a lot of training camps and behind the scenes coaching. Who was the greatest coach fighter duo? Man, GSP and Faraz would be tough to beat. They were like best friends, and then Faraz like this mastermind, and GSP believed in everything he said. So there's that trust there. That'd be tough to beat.
Remember Anthony Pettis and Duke Rufus were like almost like father and son. When
Anthony Pettis, Duke Rufus is a good one. Ben Henderson and John Crouch is a good one. Justin Gaethje, Trevor Whitman's a good one. There's a bunch of examples, and you'd be like, well, Greg Jackson and Jon Jones. Eesh. Yes, Greg's great, but I think Johnny, whether he had Faraz as a coach or Phil Nurse or the ATT guys or the San Jose guys, a.k.a. Jon Jones would still be the greatest of all time. He was that talented. For GSP, he had to work, man. You know, he wasn't born with any like crazy gifts, so his is all about work and coaching and technique, and that's Faraz. That's why he's a little different. You talk about AKA.
Yeah, Javier Mendez could be.
Javier Mendez, Cain Velasquez. You know, that's tough.
Did you have any coaches?
Khabib and his dad. That's tough.
Oh, yeah, his dad. What the fuck am I saying? Yeah.
He found Islam and he found Khabib.
Yeah.
He was doing something right. What were you going to say?
Did you have coaches, like one specific coach only, or did you like have multiple coaches?
Everyone has multiple. Even these guys were mentioned. No one has just one coach.
Did you have one that you bonded with the most?
Trevor Whitman, when I first started, yeah. Me and Trevor, he's my ride or die. He's mine and Shane's ride or die. And then Leicester Bowling, I gravitated towards him. Amal Easton. I had great coaches, At Clayton R867, nostalgia fan question asking for 2 months. Hey, Schaub, big fan of the show. You make the new chair look small. Do I? Thanks, dude.
We can get
I guess.
Chair.
Oh, I'm cool, man. You're one of the best minds and speakers on the sport. I don't know about that, buddy, but I'm trying. Kind of a fun throwback question for the OGs. Can you rank your top 3 all-time list of each division? Also, your top 3 all-time most dangerous fighters in the first round? 2 more questions. Oh, this is loaded. 2 more questions since I've had no luck getting answered. So if this gets seen, it'll hold me over until next summer. But somehow you saw my fetch comment correcting you for Mean Girls. Oh, yeah, that's right, dude. What 3 champions have had the hardest fall from grace? Cody has to be number 1. Also, how would a fight with you and Bradley Martin likely go?
Oh, come on.
Dude, you had so many good questions to that last one. I still love you. God, I mean, this would take some homework. Rank your top 3 all time. I'll do certain divisions. I'm not going to throw every single division, especially the women's. Heavyweight for me, it's Fedor, Kane, Verdum. In no particular order. Light heavyweight, God, you'd have to go put Chuck up there. You have to go Jon Jones, Chuck. And this is just off the top of the dome. DC, maybe? DC Gusvin for me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Middleweight, you got to go Izzy, Anderson. Poetan and Strickland. '70, you got GSP. I mean, that's a loaded question, brother. What 3 champions have had the hardest fall from grace? Well, it depends what you mean. Cody's a good example, right? Because he didn't like have a long reign. I think for me, the tough one, and we just see it, is Izzy. Izzy's a tough one for me. He was so good, and he lapped the division. And we live in this world of what have you done for me lately? And y'all must have forgot how he was so good. He crawled so Poetan could walk. He was so dominant. Again, the fan base forgets this. Izzy was so fucking good and dominant that the UFC went, what are we going to do? We can't just have him keep fighting fucking Vettori and Robert Whittaker and Strickland. Like, we gotta do something here. Who's that guy who beat him? Let's go find him in the jungles of Brazil working at a tire shop. This guy named Alex Poetan. and then catapulted him to the front of the line, and now you have one of the best ever. So people forget how fucking good Izzy was, and now that we see it, kind of, older, a little slower, I hate it. I fucking hate it. Because football's not like this. Football or basketball, you don't see, an older Joe Montana or older Jerry Rice when they're in training camp. You don't see it. The coaches do. The team does. They go, let's lay low. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, Jerry Rice doesn't play anymore. But all you remember is when he was balling out. So other leagues do really good. All of a sudden, at some point, Bryce Harper or Ohtani, you're like, he's not in the lineup. Or you'll see injured. Oh yeah, Ohtani hasn't played in 4 months. Oh, weird. And then the next year, retired. Okay. And you just remember him as this monster. Fighting, there's nothing worse. Nothing worse. What else you got? At Sam Lennon 2612. Fan question. Been asking since you started taking questions. I've been trying to get my son into physical activity I can find, and he just not into them. He just loves video games. First question would be, how old is he? Recently, he said he wants to start boxing. I took advantage, signed him up to a gym. He's been to 2 classes now and loves it. My question is, I know you say you would steer your kids away from fighting, but say they grow up and decide it's what they want to do no matter what you say. Would you train them and corner their fights? Would you try to get them to the UFC? The answer is yes. So for you, I'd ask how old the kid is. Here's the thing. There are some kids, like my youngest, he will grind. I don't have to ask him. The other day, I posted on my story. I come home, and he's on the fight camp, boxing bag, doing work. He was out there for an hour. Sometimes I come home for work, and he's out in the backyard feeling ground balls thrown against the wall. Or he's tossing the ball up, hitting it. I don't have to ask. He's just wired that way. He's a grinder. All good. Let's cook, my man. My oldest, he's down, especially if I ask him. He's never like, he's down. But also, I look at it's like diets. It's like if you have no, let's say you had no say in what your kid does, your kid's going to eat 2 pounds of Starburst for dinner. Your kid's going to play video games for 8 hours. They're fucking young, dude. They're going to make some bad choices. They don't know. They have no reference or perspective. That's why you're there. So when I hear parents like, I don't want to push them, agree, but there's a difference. If your kid wants to box, sign him up. Let's ride. I don't care what my kids are into. I don't play fucking baseball. Before my kids played baseball, I fucking hated baseball. I adore it. It's my favorite sport now. Whatever they're into, let's fucking ride, but we're going to do it. Let's do it. Commit. Let's do it. But that doesn't mean, okay, when I come home from work, we're going to the batting cage 6 days a week. We're there for 2 hours. We're going to make it your job. That's where parents fuck up. So if your kid likes boxing, he's been to 2 classes, keep it at 2 a week. Keep it fun. You don't have to you don't need to turn into Floyd Mayweather's dad and he's boxing 6 times a week, because then kids go, whoa. But it's the same thing with people like, I just want to force them into anything. My parents had to force me into some shit, dude. You think I wanted to go to football practice when my buddies were playing all the time? No. But I made a commitment. My dad's like, no, you signed up for it. You made a commitment. You're going. I'm like, but Dad, I want to play video games with my friend, or I want to eat snacks and watch fucking Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where the fuck it was, or Animaniacs. My dad's like, I don't give a fuck. You're up. You go to practice. And I get to practice, I was fine. But if it was up to me at 6, 7, yeah, I'm chilling, dude. It's very rare. And I think parents these days think, because you'll see some kids on social media where it's like, look at this little guy grinding, man. This kid's a beast. Yeah, that's fine. But most kids aren't like that, and it's all good. Most of the pros you watch weren't like that. Most of them, it starts off as fun, and then they get good at it, and then they fall in love with it. And it's okay if your 10-year-old isn't sleeping, eating, breathing football or baseball. They're 10. Let them be kids, and then eventually, as things start to pick up, you can start kind of channeling them to a little more serious shit. But parents, I think because social media, it's like, my kid wants to sit around playing video games. All kids do. Yeah. LeBron's kids wanted to just sit around and play video games. But you're the parent. At some point, you're like, oh, buddy, that's enough. We're going to go outside. Like my kids they don't have iPads, but if they want to play video, they don't have PlayStations anymore. They lost it. But let's say they're Nintendos. All right, if you want to play your Nintendo for 30 minutes or an hour, you have to spend 2 hours outside to earn that hour. So they're kids. Of course they want to chill and play video games and eat junk food all day. They're fucking 6 and 10. But dads get too crazy. They see a little bit of talent, like you become fucking Roger Mayweather. It's like, dude, you're going to fuck this up. If he's into it, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. And just because one day he's like, Dad, I don't want to go to boxing. I'd rather play video games. Yeah, he's 10. That's normal. Make him go. Hopefully that helps, brother. Now, as far as would I train my kids if they were into it? Yes. At the end of the day, if we're doing all this baseball, football, and all that shit, and this just ramping up for me, and one day my son turned to me and was like, Dad, I just love fighting. I want to get into wrestling more. I want to do jiu-jitsu. I want to start taking MMA fights. What do I do? I'm not going to be like, no, sir, you're on your own. No. Whatever they're into, I will support and I'll help out as much as I can. At the end of the day, it's out of our control. Whatever you want to do. I can sway them. I try to tell them, fighting ain't for you, buddy. But at the end of the day, if they both look at me and like, nope, we're going to take the same route you went, I'm like, all right, let's ride. I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but I'll do what I can. Abe Valicilo 794. Fan question. Shout out to all y'all. The new formats. Ching killing it. Nick, great addition. Brendan, keep killing it, bro. Thanks, dude. 2 questions. What do you think about Dana dropping Conor news during Francis' walkout? I believe he wasn't really trying to steal views from MVP. I believe he was trying to remove them from talking points for the weeks to come. What are MMA outlets and channels going to talk about? Conor return with a stacked card or MVP? Yeah. Here's my issue. So part of me, one of my issues, and I don't blame him, Dana's kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? He's climbed to the top of the mountain. He's focused on slap fight and Zuffa boxing. And say what you want, it does hurt the UFC because you have guys running it now who aren't hardcores, like Shapiro and shit like that. That does affect the UFC. Say what you want, but it's affecting the UFC. You don't have the mastermind behind it who bled fucking UFC and fighting. You just don't. So the heart's not in it anymore. And we can tell. All good. I still love the product. All good. But back in the day, like Dana was relentless. I compare him to Howard Stern. Like when Howard Stern first started as a disc jockey, everybody could get it. He would go into certain markets and take your fucking job so he could be the biggest. Dana was the same way. If there's another league, it was fucking on me versus you, survival of the fittest. I'm going to fucking eat you alive. We're going to beat your numbers and we're going to take your guys. And he was relentless. So when I saw Dana do this, I'm like, that's the old Dana. That's kind of cool. And I thought about it, I went, it's kind of cool, but he announced a Conor McGregor fight off Instagram Live and had to read off a script. That made me sad. You have the biggest name in combat sports history making a comeback. It's going to do dumb numbies. And you guys have known for 6 months he was coming back. And maybe you wanted to wait for MVP Netflix and drop it when Francis is walking out. Okay. But this isn't 2010 where that's going to rumble things and take views away. That did nothing to affect them. Did it affect the news? Yeah, but most people are like me and you cover both. Thanks for the extra content. We'll cover Conor and MVP and Ronda. Okay, it's a loaded week, all good, but it doesn't take away from MVP. It doesn't. It's just it's a ripple, and then we keep watching the fight. It breaks my heart because back in the day, they would have had a press conference. You would have had Max, Conor in a suit, Max sitting there. All the media would have been invited to make the announcement. You would have a dope sizzle. And now you get a half-ass, he's reading, dude. Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, International Fight Week. No effort. That's heartbreaking. And Conor deserves better. Max deserves better. International Fight Week deserves better. If it was a rush to put it out for the Netflix MVP, okay. but you guys have known about this fight for 6 months. Netflix MVP has had this date booked for months. That's what bums me out. That's a bummer. Number 2, what are your thoughts on some fans making it seem like Conor's going to pull out of the fight? Real quick, he's never pulled out of a fight that he signed a contract for. There's been rumors, there's been other things, but as far as him like pulling out weeks before a fight, that's not real. All the high blood, here comes Conor, but there was never anything official, if you remember. There's no dates. We have a date, we have an opponent, he's being drug tested. He's fought with torn meniscus. He's fought injured before. He was injured in the Khabib fight. His meniscus was blown out against Chad Mendes fight. They changed the opponent last second. He's game when it comes to that. So this shit where they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. We keep getting these promises. No. The UFC has made you promises. Conor has never said, I'm fighting on this date and didn't show up for that date. That is a fact. I promise you he's fighting at International Fight Week. If you know anything about Conor, once that date's signed, the opponent's signed, that motherfucker shows up, rain, sun, or shine. That's what that motherfucker does. At Bruisti06. Fan questions. What up, Brendan? Much love and respect to you and your family. Thanks, dude. I've been a huge fan for the show, your fighting career for years. Bubba, I wanted to get your honest view on my close friend, Richie El Machi Miranda. He's a 2-time All-American wrestler, currently in the LFA 155-pound champion, record of 12-1. He's part of the bloodline with Cub and is sharpening his game every day alongside killers who are already in the UFC. Okay. In his first title defense, he came in as a huge underdog and completely silenced the critics, dominated the fight, mixed everything together and showed he's not just a one-dimensional fighter. He's got hands too. He has the highest level fight IQ that you always talk about when it comes to the guys who make the jump. He's defending his belt again this May, and I truly believe this is a huge moment for him. Agree. From your experience being in the UFC and around the world, what do you think Richie needs to do in his next fight to really catch the attention of Dana White and the UFC brass? Is it more about getting highlight finish, showing more personality, markability, or proving he can dominate in a way that separates him from the rest of the pack at 155? Please check that down-ass foo and give your honest take. We're all trying to level up. We're all trying to level up. Your insight would mean a lot. Appreciate you. Much love. Continued success. Thanks, brother. So what's his record? Did he say 12-1? Scroll up, Chin. So he's 12-1. So the 2-time All-American, current LFA 155 champion, which is a big deal. And he has the bloodline. He trains with Cub. Okay. So you look him up, Chin. Let's see how he's won his fights. Because you meant, I'm assuming he's winning his fights by decision in wrestling, because you mentioned he actually showed his hands there. So it's like, all right, he's probably winning a lot by grappling.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's the problem. So it's not a problem. I don't mean problem. But so he's won a ton of his fights via decision. That's why they haven't come knocking yet. Keep going down. Yeah, everything's decision or ground and pound. Everything. Yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue for the UFC, not for me. This motherfucker's getting the job done. He's won a ton of fights. Scroll up for me, Chin. He's doing the damn thing. And he won his last fight via decision too. That's the issue. You know, he's 12-1, and I'd have to see how he's getting it done. This day and age in the UFC, if you want to get signed, you kind of got to offer something more than just wrestling. They don't want that. They just don't. This isn't my doing. I'd sign the fucking kid. They want someone that they can build into a star, and if he's winning by playing it safe or just using wrestling, it's not going to happen. What can happen, though, is especially being an LFA, who so many alumni have gone to have great careers in the UFC, is what can happen is he'll get a short notice where they need somebody, and so they're going to have him on a short list, and when somebody at 155 falls out, he might get a 2-day notice or a day notice. That's the other way you get in. And also at 12-1, he's going to fuck dudes up on Contender Series. So he's in a tough spot. But yeah, you know what's up, dude. You know, it's unfortunately, it's the nature of the business. In order to get their attention, he'd have to get a finish. Yeah. These decisions aren't, it's just, and it sucks because you're fighting good competition in LFA. He's going to have to get a finish. He just is. Whether it's submission or via TKO or KO, he's gonna have to start getting some finishes to get their attention and sign them right away. Or, you're on the short list and they call you up on short notice and you get in that way. And it sounds like he's gonna beat a ton of guys if they go the Contender Series way, or he gets in the Ultimate Fighter way. There's few different routes you can go if you're not the most exciting or character. And also, when you bring up marketing character, if that's not his thing, do not push that. Just keep winning. Eventually, you're going to get there. Hopefully that helps, brother. It's the nature of the business. It sucks. All right, man. Good luck to that, gentlemen. Thank you guys for the fan questions. Love you guys. We've gone damn near an hour here. We'll answer more next week. That's what we do. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Sunday night. See you tomorrow. It's Monday. So that's it. Love you guys. I'm out.